visit to Egypt unlocks more than $1 billion in export potential. Enhanced cooperation between industry and TVET institutions essential. Good evening and salam Malaysia Madani. You're watching Malaysia Tonight. I'm Darryl Baptist. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim official visit to Egypt has bolstered Malaysia-Egypt bilateral relations. It unlocked 4.8 billion ringgit or US 1.1 billion in potential export opportunities for Malaysia, according to the Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry, also known as MITI. MITI stated that this export potential was largely generated through a roundtable meeting attended by 60 industry and business leaders from 47 Egyptian firms and key business associations, as well as 40 representatives from 20 Malaysian companies. In a statement, MITI said that during the session, productive discussions between Malaysian and Egyptian companies identified export potential worth 4.8 billion ringgit or 1.1 billion US dollars. Particularly in high-value sectors such as automotive, chemicals, oleochemicals and renewable energy. MITI added that Egyptian companies also expressed interest in investment opportunities in Malaysia, particularly in medical devices and pharmaceuticals. The official visit took place from 10th to 12th November 2024. Egypt was Malaysia's fifth largest trading partner in Africa in 2023. The cooperation between the industry and the technical and vocational education and training, also known as TVET institutions, needs to be further strengthened. This is to ensure that the alignment between supply and demand occurs comprehensively. According to Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Fadillah Yusof, consistent input from the industry will cover both the quantity and quality aspects of the workforce.
Saya juga menyeru agar penglibatan aktif industri di Malaysia untuk bekerjasama dengan pihak kerajaan dalam menyokong agenda memperkasa TVET. Melalui pendekatan ini, institusi TVET berupaya menawarkan program lebih berkualiti dan relevan dengan keperluan pasaran seperti ditetapkan oleh pihak industri.
TVET agencies are also urged to organize more skills competitions at their respective institutions to provide more talent to represent the country at the international level. He said this while delivering a speech at the Prime Minister's Golden Hand Awards and the 2024 Skilled Figure Awards today. Also present was the Minister of Human Resources, Stephen Sim. With Malaysia set to assume the ASEAN chairmanship in 2025, the country is well positioned to enhance the region's reputation as a leading destination for effective alternative dispute resolution, also known as ADR. Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Law and Institutional Reform, Datuk Seri Azlina Othman Syed, said this vision would require multilateral partnerships among ASEAN member states supported by government officials, arbitral institutions, legal practitioners and industry stakeholders.
In achieving this vision, we require multilateral partnership among ASEAN member states supported by government officials, arbitral institutions, legal practitioners and industry stakeholders. Together, we can reaffirm our commitment to upholding the rule of law, broadening access to justice and delivering equitable outcomes through effective alternate dispute resolution mechanism. By enhancing this partnership, it will elevate the quality of our services and ensure that our frameworks are globally recognized and respected.
The Minister pointed out that access to justice through an efficient ADR mechanism is essential for a fair and reliable commercial environment, with methods like arbitration and mediation offering effective, equitable and inclusive solutions. She further explained that the ASEAN region's unique strengths can greatly enhance the success of ADR, delivering significant economic benefits and acting as a catalyst for regional growth. Continuous investment in infrastructure projects is helping Malaysia strengthen its position as a regional trade and investment hub while boosting global competitiveness. Deputy Economy Minister Dato' Hanifah Hajar Taib said the government remains committed to infrastructure projects such as highways, ports and airports, aiming to achieve a gross domestic product growth target of 5 to 6% under the 12th Malaysia Plan, also known as 12MP.
Ketersediaan infrastruktur pengangkutan yang baik akan membolehkan pergerakan barangan dan manusia berjalan lancar, menyumbang kepada kesejahteraan rakyat dan seterusnya menyokong dan mempercepat aktiviti ekonomi negara dengan lebih berkesan termasuk pelancongan perjalanan import dan ekspor barangan.
However, the Deputy Minister noted that project distribution remains constrained by budget and financial capacity, alongside considerations such as sustainability, urgency, criticality and public safety. Dato' Hanifah added that the infrastructure plan also benefits areas like rural regions in Sabah and Sarawak through enhanced basic infrastructure, increased mobility and improved digital connectivity, optimizing land use for the rural economy. Key indicators set under the 12MP midterm review for Sabah and Sarawak include a target of 98% coverage for clean water access and 99% for electricity access. Additional indicators are the construction and upgrading of 700 kilometers of rural roads, new sites for digital infrastructure, and increased internet connectivity points in rural schools. The Human Resources Ministry, also known as Kasuma, is evaluating a structured cost system for recruiting foreign workers to address the financial burdens on employers. Deputy Minister Datuk Seri Abdul Rahman Muhammad said consultations are underway with source countries to determine a transparent cost structure.
Langkah ini juga sejajar dengan komitmen Kesuma di bawah Pelan Tindakan Kebangsaan mengenai buruh paksa NAPFL 2021 hingga 2025 yang menerapkan konsep transparansi dan zero cost of the worker dengan izin yang betul dalam kos pengalihan pekerja asing.
Speaking in the Dewan Rakyat today, he added that once finalized, these findings will be shared with all stakeholders, including relevant government agencies, employers, trade unions and private employment agencies, including in Sabah and Sarawak. Currently, foreign worker recruitment costs have become a significant expense for employers in Sabah. In addition to the cost structure, Kasuma is set to implement a pre-employment concept to provide potential foreign workers with a clear understanding of job requirements and costs associated with employment in Malaysia. The ministry is also encouraging employers to reduce reliance on foreign workers by transitioning to mechanization or automation. Another ministry looking into research is the Defence Ministry, who is conducting an in-depth study on the application of artificial intelligence, or AI, in the defence sector. Speaking in the Dewan Rakyat today, Deputy Defence Minister Adli Zahari said this was part of a strategic effort to bridge gaps and that the study would cover several key aspects. He said it would also include the use of AI in weapon systems, cybersecurity, and data processing and analysis.
Kedua adalah berkaitan AI dalam keselamatan cyber yang menumpukan kepada penggunaan AI untuk mengesan, mencegah serta bertindak balas terhadap serangan cyber, melindungi rangkaian yang kritikal. Dan yang ketiga adalah pemprosesan dan juga analisa data yang menumpukan kepada penggunaan teknologi AI dalam memproses data dari pelbagai sumber untuk mengenal pasti corak dan ancaman, lalu meningkatkan kesedaran situasi dan keupayaan pertahanan negara.
Adli said in the Defence White Paper midterm review, the ministry planned to implement the development of strategic technologies such as unmanned systems, smart weapons and space technology. He said the ministry would look at how AI could be used to drive innovation, enhance human capital capabilities, and strengthen cooperation among stakeholders to build a resilient defence ecosystem. Good news for folks in Sabah. The Cabinet has approved a 442.3 million ringgit upgrade of Kota Kinabalu International Airport, also known as KKIA. Transport Minister Anthony Loke said the pre-construction phase would begin this year, with construction expected to be completed by 2027. Loke added the upgrade is fully funded through a private financing initiative by Malaysia Airports Holdings Berhad, or MAHB, without any government guarantees.
Projek naik taraf ini akan melibatkan beberapa skop kerja yang utama, iaitu yang pertamanya, pembesaran terminal utama, menambah kapasiti terminal dari 9 juta kepada 12 juta penumpang setahun, memastikan pengalaman perjalanan yang selesa dan lancar. Yang kedua, kemudahan baru termasuk pembinaan kawasan parkir bertingkat dan tambahan 7 ruangan parkir pesawat apron. Yang ketiga, infrastruktur sokongan, penambahbaikan jalan raya sekitar lapangan terbang dan penggunaan teknologi hijau. Keempat, adaptasi teknologi Airport 4.0 dengan mengintegrasikan otomasi dan teknologi canggih untuk meningkatkan kecekapan operasi.
The minister gave his assurance that KKIA's operations would remain unaffected during the upgrade, with flights continuing as usual and passengers managed through existing facilities. Up to October this year, KKIA recorded 6.6 million passengers, a 13.4% increase compared with the same period last year. The Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security plans to increase the area of the Permanent Food Production Park, also known as the TKPM project nationwide, to increase and guarantee the production of agricultural products, as well as reduce dependence on imported sources. Its Deputy Minister, Dato' Arthur Joseph Kurup, said it was one of the efforts to ensure the security of food supply meet the growing needs. He explained a total of 491 million ringgit was allocated by the Ministry of Agriculture through the Department of Agriculture under the 18th and 12th Malaysia Plan to implement the development of TKPM.
Kita punya reliance on makanan yang diimport ini masih terlalu tinggi. Bermakna bahawa usaha perlu dilipat gandakan untuk meningkatkan hasil pengeluaran makanan negara kita tersendiri.
He said this after officiating the 2024 TKPM Empowerment Seminar by the Department of Agriculture recently. The TKPM was established based on 4 objectives, namely the creation of permanent production zones to ensure the country's food security and increase the production of sustainable, quality and safe food for consumption. Malaysia will begin implementing the use of Euro 5 petrol in September 2025 and is expected to achieve full specifications by 2027 as part of a long-term solution to improve the country's air quality. The Minister of Natural Resources and Environment, Nazmi Nik Ahmad, said that this implementation is also in line with the Environmental Quality Regulations, Control of Petrol and Diesel Fuel Content 2007.
Dari masa ke semasa, JAS memang dia akan meningkatkan kualiti bahan api supaya dengan itu masalah pencemaran dan sebagainya akan dapat kita kurangkanlah. Jadi kalau kita tahu pun biasanya standard enjin pun satu lagi dia satu ialah bahan api, satu lagi enjin. Enjin yang baru jauh lebih bersih berbanding dengan enjin yang lama. Mengambil kira keadaan dan kemampuan kita. Kita mungkin nak bergerak sama-sama serentak tu ada cabaran kita, tetapi kita boleh memastikan kita tidak ketinggalan jauh lah dari aspek kualiti bahan api.
Therefore, the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment and the Department of Environment will work closely with the industry to ensure that this transition runs smoothly. Nick Nazmi further elaborated that vehicles with Euro 5 emissions technology will operate more efficiently and meet stringent standards, including reductions in sulfur content and other pollutants. Moving on to the topic of cars, according to the Malaysian Automotive Association, or MAA, the country's new vehicle sales fell by 4% to 69,859 units in October 2024, compared to 76,173 units in the same month last year. However, the association noted that October's total industry volume, also known as TIV, was 20% higher than September 2024's TIV of 58,032 units. MAA shared that 64,322 units of passenger vehicles, or PVs, were sold in October, a decline of 6%, declined from 68,721 units in the same month last year, while sales of commercial vehicles, or CVs, decreased by 26% year-on-year, or YOY, to 5,537 units from 7,452 units. As for the total sales volume for the first 10 months of 2024, it grew by 2.4%. Reaching 664,002 units compared to 648,130 units in the same period last year. The TIV for PVs increased by 5% to 608,225 units, while the TIV for CVs declined by 16% to 55,777 units. In terms of production, MAA said that 71,196 vehicles were produced in October 2024, 4% lower than 74,191 units in the same month last year. This included 66,906 PVs, down 4% from 69,475 units in October 2023, and 4,290 CVs slid 9% from 4,716 units previously. Looking ahead though, MAA expects sales momentum to continue in November 2024, forecasting higher sales than in October. On to more business news. The Kuala Lumpur rubber market continued to end mixed today amid gains in crude oil prices. A dealer said the market sentiment remains supported by concerns over the global natural rubber supply and positive Chinese automobile sales. Nevertheless, further gains were capped by losses in regional rubber futures markets ahead of key United States inflation data. Meanwhile, she said Japanese rubber futures weakened for the fourth consecutive session today, as top consumer China's economic data fell below expectations, despite fresh stimulus measures from Beijing, although a weaker yen limited the decline. At the same time, she said the China Association of Automobile Manufacturers reported that China's auto sales rose 7% year-on-year, or YOY, to 3.05 million units in October. She added that in the first 10 months of the year, auto sales exceeded 24.6 million units, up 2.7% year-on-year. According to the Malaysian Rubber Board, the price of standard Malaysian Rubber 20, or SMR 20, declined by 5.5 sen to 854 sen per kilogram, or kg, while latex in bulk increased by 0.5 sen to 670 per kg. At 5 p.m, SMR 20 stood at 854 sen per kg, while latex in bulk was at 670.50 sen per kg. ASEAN and France have unveiled new initiatives aimed at strengthening their development partnership, targeting key areas such as creative industries, peatland management, landmine removal, and the ASEAN power grid. The new initiatives were announced during the fourth meeting of the ASEAN-France Development Partnership Committee, or DPC, held at the ASEAN Secretariat in Jakarta on Tuesday. According to a statement from the ASEAN Secretariat, both sides also agreed to expand cooperation on humanitarian aid, the promotion of French language and culture, and people-to-people exchanges. The ASEAN Secretariat welcomed France's strong commitment to enhance the partnership, including through the establishment of the ASEAN-France Fund, which aims to enhance tangible cooperation projects between ASEAN and France. The partnership will also broaden to encompass areas such as energy transition, food security, media and information, and vocational training, while both sides work to integrate the 4 priority areas outlined in the ASEAN Outlook on the Indo-Pacific. France renewed its contribution of $100,000 from the ASEAN-France Fund and announced an additional $100,000 for junior fellows to undertake a working visit to France to understand the country's policy-making process within the European Union. Here's a special story. Ling Chu Canal is a remarkable feat of ancient engineering located in Xin'an County, Guangxi, China. It's one of the oldest canals in the world, recognized by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site in 2012. Let's take a look at a report compiled by Gilberto Robert, who is in China for the 2024 ASEAN Media Partners Cooperation Week.
This Ling Chu Canal behind me is over 2,000 years and built during the dynasty Han, and it serves as a main maritime link connecting few provinces in China. And so many artifacts has been found along these tributaries, and it signifies the ancient civilization that have lived along this route for so many years.
Ling Chu Canal was not just a waterway, it was a lifeline, a trade route and a cultural bridge linking Xin'an, Yangchuan, Rongjiang and Xiangli. It is also the evidence of canal technology of ancient China, an outstanding example of early canals that reflect the ancient hydraulic and navigation technology of ancient civilization. It is still used today to irrigate farmland and drain flood water. The Ling Chu Canal Museum is a comprehensive historical and cultural institution where visitors can view collections of cultural relics and artifacts found along the canal. Visitors can also learn about the innovative hydraulic systems of the past through an interactive virtual experience. Outside the museum is the Ling Chu Canal Scenic Area, a national tourism site with 4A's rating. Visitors can admire the exquisite architecture, intricate carvings and stunning sculptures which evoke the canal's rich history. The charming waterside atmosphere invites visitors to relax, stroll and soak in the picturesque scenery. Thanks to the government's dedication in preserving this heritage, this historical gem will continue to inspire and educate future generations for many years to come. Gilberto Robert, Guilin, RTM.
Coming up, Sulu claim to take action against Sabah is senseless. But before that story, the late Tun Daim Zainuddin has been laid to rest at the Bukit Kiara Muslim Cemetery after he breathed his last this morning at a private hospital. The burial concluded about 6:10 p.m. The burial was led by a senior imam from Masjid Wilayah Persekutuan. Despite the gloomy weather, a crowd of more than 100 loved ones and friends joined in the burial ceremony. Tun Daim breathed his last at 8:21 a.m. today while receiving treatment at Asunta Hospital in Petaling Jaya. He was 86. He served as finance minister from 1984 to 1991 and held the position again from 1999 to 2001. We'd like to wish our deepest sympathies to Tun's family and loved ones, and may he rest in peace. And now we move on to our next story. The claim by the Sulu group suggesting they are free to take action against Sabah, including potentially leasing it to countries like China or the Philippines, is senseless. Datuk Sri Azlina Othman Syed, Minister in the Prime Minister's Department for Law and Institutional Reform, reaffirmed that as a sovereign nation that gained independence in 1957, Malaysia will oppose this claim as Sabah is an integral part of the country. She was responding to a report yesterday in which Paul Cohen, the lead lawyer for the Sulu group, described Malaysia's victory in the French Supreme Court as a self-defeating ruling and argued that his clients are now free to take action against Sabah.
Kita ada corporate commission, dah ada referendum. Jadi dia cakap semua benda-benda yang pada saya tak masuk akal, tapi ialah sebagai peguam dia ada hak lah. Kalau dia rasa nak guam dia ada hak, itu percakapan dia, tapi jawapan saya just try lah. Kita akan lawan lah.
However, the minister said the government will decide whether to seek reimbursement for legal fees, court-related travel expenses and other costs once the entire case concerning the Sulu group's claim is concluded. Earlier, the media reported that Cohen said his clients are now pursuing action against Sabah, including the possibility of leasing it to China or the Philippines. His Majesty Sultan Ibrahim, the King of Malaysia, urged graduates not to be overly selective when seeking jobs and to seize available opportunities, especially given the intense competition from foreign workers. The King noted that an excessively picky attitude not only hinders the graduates themselves, but also poses a setback to national development.
Jika terlalu memilih, para graduat akan kekal menjadi penganggur terhormat dan peluang pekerjaan yang ada akan direbut oleh pekerja asing. Akibatnya, awak semua dan negara yang akan rugi.
Sultan Ibrahim also advised graduates against relying solely on government support, cautioning that such dependence leads to a passive and weakened generation. The king urged the youth, as the nation's emerging leaders, to reject a detrimental mindset, as a culture of dependency erodes self-confidence and ambition, hindering national progress. The king also stressed that every individual, including young people, government officials and politicians, must be courageous enough to initiate personal change to achieve greater progress for the future of the nation. That concludes this evening's Malaysia Tonight. In our top story, visit to Egypt unlocks more than $1 billion in export potential. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. I'm Daryl Baptist. Thank you for watching. I look forward to our next meeting already. Good night.